Hello and welcome to the Faces of Africa Pocket Edition, where we dissect and discuss the topics covered in our weekly documentary show, which takes you through the continent's history, cultures, and major issues through exploring great personalities. The documentary this week is focusing on astronomy in South Africa. My name is Fathiya Mohammed Noor, and I have here Ashley.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. What did you find intriguing, or what caught your attention in the documentary?
I would be honest in saying that at first I feel a bit overwhelmed by the amount of information.
I hear you.
Right?
Yeah.
It feels like I need to be like a college graduate in physics or something like that to understand what they're talking about. But lucky enough, in the documentary, you'll also be seeing a lot of nice pictures from the faraway galaxies, and those are the language I understand. Because they're so colorful, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't help yourself but wonder, what would be there to generate such a color in a natural way, because it's not displayed, it's not man-made, it's the color of the galaxy. And you would think, oh, I thought the universe is all dark and quiet.
Dark, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can also hear the audio of the deep, deep universe.
Yeah. It's interesting that you found that, intriguing in the documentary, because the pictures tell you a lot. But is it something that you would sit down and be like, okay, let me study what astronomy is all about?
Maybe not the whole science of astronomy, but it does get me intrigued in what is SKA and what does it do. And the more information you learn from the documentary about what it does, the more you feel like, oh, why haven't we done this earlier?
Right.
And the idea of SKA, which is Square Kilometer Array, actually initiated in 1990s. But I believe back then maybe the level of production, manufacturing wasn't there.
Yeah. Because I think what also was interesting is that they were using a certain word. They kept on saying that, like, the professors were talking unknowns. Basically, just there in the galaxy. Not human beings don't know much about it, but they're using the technology that they have, and they're studying
the
what
unknown.
Yes, which
like the real unknowns.
Yes,
like nobody has ever done anything about it before.
Yeah,
it is true. Like once the construction is completed, that SK is going to be the single largest and most advanced scientific facility in the world, in the history of mankind.
So let's move on away from that. And I think when the documentary starts, one of the key characters that we see is a professor. She's called Poncho, I believe.
Maruping.
Yes. And she's a woman in this industry where it's usually dominated by a lot of men.
Yes.
Do you think things are changing globally? Because for a very long time, it's kind of been like a patriarchal kind of society.
Yes.
But now it's in astronomy. We're seeing women leading.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I personally think it must have been very difficult for her to fight her way, even to join that circle in the first place, all the way to lead that circle.
Yeah.
It must have been a really amazing and inspiring story, as you can see in the documentary. And I believe, yes, of course, we need more women in the area of science, especially space science. Because honestly, physically, women are stronger. That's what I believe. With stress, with pressure, and even when you do those, they do those kind of trials or tests on your body before they choose you as an astronomer. What I like about the education bit about the SKA project is that they don't hesitate to go out and meet the students, at high school. So that the people of South Africa, or taxpayers, they really understand this is something that has to do with me. It's not
benefits
the problem that's
me also.
out there. Yeah,
yes, totally. Let's talk about how now a couple of countries, of course, had to bid to get this particular project. Now, it so happened that South Africa is actually the country that won, and I think that's such a big win for Africa.
It's such an inspiring
right?
Win.
Yeah.
Because the other country, I believe, in the southern hemisphere is Australia.
Yes, it's in Australia.
And I believe the reason South Africa was chosen also has something to do with its latitude location. But I still believe that it's, in a way, recognizing an African country for the first time for its scientific research ability and its talent pool, most importantly, because this wouldn't happen without a certain amount of scientists willing to devote their time and energy.
I think there's life in space, because personally, I don't think so. I really don't.
Now is the place we're going to disagree with each other.
Okay, you tell me, because according to the movies I watch, I see the aliens and I'm like, nope, not for me.
Not for you. Well, I believe there's life outside of Earth, because if you think about it in a reasonable way, like, do you really think something which is, having life, that something can happen only on Earth? Because statistically, even it's a 1 in trillion chance, but there are trillions and trillions of planets in the universe. Maybe they're just too far away for you to even hear them. Maybe they sent a signal a million years ago, but still that signal hasn't reached Earth. And that's the reason we think that we're alone.
I mean, I tend to agree, but I just think, like, what else exists there?
What else?
Like, I usually just think it's creatures. Maybe it's the movies I've been watching, really.
Well, I'd like to introduce this, one of my favorite books, sci-fi books. It's written by a Chinese author called Liu Cixin. It's been adapted into a Netflix series even. It's called The Three-Body Problem. And in the book, one of the coolest theory that the fans think is called the dark forest theory. Which means, like, every civilization, and here by civilization they mean like planet, right? For each civilization is like a hunter holding a shotgun and walking in a dark forest. But instead of killing each other, making a sound, every one of them are keeping quiet, because you don't know who's your opponent and how strong they could be.
Yeah, but thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Ashley. I think it's going to be an interesting documentary and informative for our audience,
Yes.
Right, of course, remember you can watch the documentary on Sunday at 12:30 East Africa time, 9:30 GMT and 17:30 Beijing time, and you can find it uploaded on our YouTube channel on Monday. See you next time.